Hi everybody and welcome to another long-awaited edition of Time Smart Teaching. Sorry I've been away for a while. I got busy having a baby and then COVID hit, and before you know it 2 years has gone by. So thank you for the subscribers that have stuck with me this time. I am planning to do lots more content soon. So without further ado, let's get on to today's session, which is 5 effective ways that you can manage and improve teacher workload as a head of department. So this is for you if you are a new or aspiring department head in a secondary school, or perhaps you're an existing head of department and you are suffering from maybe high teacher turnaround, high staff absence, or you just kind of get the feeling that staff are not kind of like happy or looked after. And I think there's a real need for this at the moment, especially because as we have had 2 years of COVID and all of the increased workload and pressures that have come with that, lots of staff that are still in teaching are kind of like at a knife edge. And, you just need to look after your members of your department, which should be your job. So today's session is going to help you with that. There's always going to be people who just want to step on everyone else's toes and just, climb the management greasy pole and don't really care about staff motivation or well-being. And if that's you, don't watch the rest of this video because that's not for you. So let's get straight into item number 1, okay, on the list, and it is that you need to prioritize and safeguard your department time. Okay, so the time that you have set in your calendar as a department, which is probably like a weekly meeting or perhaps inset day time, is sacred. You have to protect that as much as you can, because as I'm sure has happened with you guys, you come to your department meeting, or you've got a block of time on inset day that you're going to have as a department, and lo and behold, someone from management comes and dumps a load of stuff for you today to do. So, can you just do this in department time? Can you just look at this data as a department for me? Can you do this intervention thing as a department? Or can you just do this online safeguarding certificate for half an hour in your department time? And by the end of it, you've got no department time left. So you have to be really, really good at defending this. So what I would suggest is, if there is something urgent that pops up that you need to do that would otherwise be done in department time, you as a department leader or head should find to do that outside. Find time to do that elsewhere. Don't use your department time to do something that isn't actually department focused. Your department time should be spent, looking at how to improve teaching and learning in your department, planning a field trip if that's your thing, looking at best practice, moderating, updating schemes of work. It should not be other admin-y things that come into it. So you need to be really good at, defending that. And if you feel like you're not getting enough department time, or you have got something really important to do, let's say there's a big moderation sample coming up for coursework if you do BTEC, for example, or something else urgent pops up that you need to do, go and ask for more department time to do it and say why you need the extra time. If you don't ask, you don't get. There's a really good chapter in my book for teachers, Time Smart Teaching, on how to negotiate and get extra time. I'm just looking for the copy of it because I did bring it down. It's around somewhere. I don't know what I've done with it. Anyway, so if you read my book, Time Smart Teaching, which is the workload management book for teachers, there is really good advice in there on how to negotiate and get extra time for your department to do things. Okay, that's item number 1. So item number 2 on how you can safeguard staff well-being in your department is by applying and keeping a close eye on the barely cover rule. So the barely cover rule states that staff should not be using their freeze or their PPA time to go and provide in-house cover for other staff. Okay, it should happen on a rare occasion. Now, there's nothing written down on how often this should happen, but for me, rarely cover to me, I think, being asked once per half term, to do a cover is probably about right. So if you find that there's a certain member of staff who keeps kind of getting picked up to do this cover internally, you need to have their back in saying no. Either no if they've already done it say twice or more, or you go and negotiate that they do it or on the condition that they get that time back, they get their PPA back at a convenient time for the school. Okay, so you need to be helping and supporting your staff to make sure that their PPIs, their time, is protected by the barely cover rule. Now, I never really had a massive problem doing in-house PPA because as a middle leader, you get extra time on your timetable, you are paid more, you kind of are expected in a way to fill the void. And I don't mind doing that, as a subject leader, but I don't think that should be expected or called upon, members of staff on the main pay scale. So you should be supporting them with that. Okay, item number 3 on how to improve staff wellbeing in your department is you need to really not change everything at once. And this is especially pertinent if you are a new head of department or you've just been promoted to head of department or assistant head, and you might be all revved up and think, great, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, that's rubbish, we're going to change that. And you need to take a step back and think about prioritizing what really needs to be changed, okay? Because before you get to a school, your department might have spent 2 years redesigning the curriculum, and they're done. Yeah, they've had enough of redesigning whole schemes of work. And then you might come in and go, let's change from AQA to EdXL, and then they're all just going to give you evil daggers and hate you forever. So I think if you're going to make major changes as a department, you need to have the agreement of the whole team and get the whole team on board, because otherwise you're just going to come up against resistance. And I've been there where we've made changes upon changes upon changes to curriculum. We've been told to do this, embed literacy, what are your soft skills, now redesign your entire schemes of work for your 7, 8 and 9 to 100-minute lessons. I wanted to die. Okay, so just be mindful about prioritizing changes as a department. Okay, number 4 is, and this is a really big one, and this is one that's going to take more time, and it's going to be a longer term goal, which is you should be designing your marking policy and your assessment policy so that it takes less time to mark and assess. If it's taking hours upon hours upon hours to mark just classwork, that's if you have to mark classwork at all, so if you can get rid of classwork marking, that's what you should be aiming for. And you might be sat there thinking, how can I possibly design assessments so that they don't take long to mark? It's just a given, isn't it? Well, again, there's loads of help on how you can do this in my book, Time Smart Teaching. There's a whole chapter on assessment and marking and how you can speed up that process without sacrificing the quality of your questioning, how you can still use the full range of Bloom's technology and clever ways that you can use multiple choice questions that still stretch and challenge. And then last but not least, number 5, and this is super important, is you as the department leader need to model the behaviour that you want to see in your team. So you need to be seen to be leaving on time or early. You need to be seen to be not taking stacks of books home. You need to be seen to have your work-life balance sorted so that the people in your department can see that it's possible. It's a case of do as I do. So when I was at a department for nearly 5 years, I was almost always the first person to leave at the end of the day. I was always trying to wrap up, the meeting 5-10 minutes early so we could get out. And that's what you need to be doing. Because if you can't sort out your own work-life balance, how can you be expected to model that for other people and help other people? And I spent so much of my time mentoring NQTs and RQTs on how to stop taking their work home. And that was kind of the reason why I wrote the book, Time Smart Teaching, in the first place. There's lots of extra special attention that you can give newly qualified teachers on how to manage their well-being. So I'm going to put that into a different video because I think they need that extra bit of TLC, especially at the moment if they've been doing teacher training during COVID and feel maybe very lacking in confidence and skills. So that's it for today. As I mentioned before, if you haven't subscribed or you're new here today, please subscribe. I am definitely going to make more content and I hope to see you soon. And if you think this video is for you, or if you've enjoyed it, or if you know someone else who might think that it's worthwhile for a watch, please share with them. Take care, teachers, and don't work too hard.